Porter. I also go by the Empress D, and I am doing this live today on behalf of the Purposely Awakened magazine. Today, joining us, we have Miss Attorney Jasmine Robinson. I'm so excited to be able to speak with her. She is a very beautiful and accomplished young woman. So please stay tuned for this interview. Now, we got to get into it, okay? Because this Lovecraft Country show that everybody has been raving about, let me tell y'all, I just watched it. Well, I started watching it because I thought that it was more like Stranger Things meets Civil Rights, and I love both. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and check this show out and see what it's about. Yeah, let me tell y'all, anybody who watched that show, you're nuts, okay? Not nothing bad. If that's your cup of tea, so be it. However, I have nightmares, okay? And nobody told me that the show is a whole horror film, basically. So I'm very upset about it. I mean, this Lovecraft Country show, listen, okay. And ironically, I did not have a nightmare last night, but that's because I had to read my Bible before I went to bed because that's how crazy the show is. I mean, really. So, it is what it is. Anyway, like I said, today we'll be joined by Attorney Jasmine Robinson. I'm so excited to be able to talk to her. She has her own classes where she teaches law. She also is very much into diversifying the legal field, so we'll be talking to her more about that as well. But until then, can you guys please tell me where you are from, how you're feeling today? Normally I'm sending out positivity and love and great energy, so I hope that you all are feeling the same. Um, yeah, today it's a little bit dreary. Not really feeling that, but it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Like I said, it's fall. Fall is coming. It's so sad to see, but it's okay because it's a new season that we're coming up upon. You know what I'm saying? And I'm actually gonna see if Miss Jasmine is joining us. Hi, beautiful people. I'm so glad to see you. This is my second interview on live today. So this is very interesting because like I said, normally I don't get too many live videos. So the fact that a lot of people are requesting to do Instagram live videos is awesome. Please tell me how you guys are doing. Like I said, I love doing the Instagram live because of the interaction. It definitely makes me feel comfortable because like I said, you all are so supportive and so amazing. So please let me know how you all are feeling on this beautiful day. Hold on. Yeah, because I was very hyped my last interview. Oh, and here she is. Let's get connected with her. Give me just a second, guys. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. How are you?
Girl, I can't complain. We almost at the weekend, got to finish out strong. This podcast gonna help me, it's gonna help me give me what I need to keep going for the rest of the day. So I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. Well, we're so excited to have you. My name is Destinee Porter, and I will be doing this interview on behalf of the Purposely Awakened magazine. I'm so glad to be having you join us today. So, can you please tell myself and the viewers about yourself and what it is that you do?
Sure. So for those, oh wait, hold on first. Let me get my filter together. I knew something was a little. I knew something was a little. Here we go. There. Okay. Let's go here. We gonna go. We gonna go. Hold on. Wait. There we go. We'll go there. So, I am Attorney Jasmine Robinson. Most feature lawyers and my clients call me Attorney Jas. I'm a law school coach and an entrepreneurship lawyer. I created Jas Talks Law because 5% of lawyers are Black. And that's something that I'm working to change literally every day. Like there's no day I'm not working towards that goal to increase that percentage. I also do entrepreneurship and entertainment law. So I do trademarks, contracts, any business legal needs, I can handle them. And yeah, so I have workbooks, online courses, just a lot of different resources to help future lawyers, to help clients, creatives, and we've done over $2 million in law school scholarships thus far. So, you know, it's just been amazing what chasing your passion can do for you. It's really been a dream come true.
Absolutely. Well, that is so wonderful. And have you always aspired to be an attorney?
Have I always? Yes, yes. So I wanted to be a family lawyer ever since I was like middle school age because of my crazy family.
Hmm.
And I saw my mom and my dad go through their divorce, and almost everyone in my family has gone through some type of family law matter. And I just realized I wanted to do the same thing. So, like, literally from middle school on, like, I was dead set on becoming an attorney. Even when I got to Hampton, the best HBCU ever, you know, like, I was just like, okay, how do I become a lawyer, you know, at Hampton, you know, and then I went on to law school.
Awesome. That is amazing. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. And one thing I noted about you is that you, as you said, make it a priority to diversify the legal field.
Yeah.
Now, please tell us how, I'm sorry, I'm reading off my notes.
You good,
Um,
girl.
why have you made that one of your many missions?
So, when you think about the Black Lives Matter movement, when you think about mass incarceration, when you think about housing laws, voting laws, when you think about discriminatory practices in the workplace, right? You have to ask yourself, okay, who's in charge of holding people responsible, right? Let's say in the criminal realm for a second, the judge at the end of the day, right? And 88% of the time, the judge is a white man, based on
Right.
the fact that 88% of lawyers are white men, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have sentencing, right, or even with the DA or the public defender, you know, you get this public defender that doesn't look like you, doesn't care where you came from, doesn't even understand, right? And then you end up taking these bogus plea deals, right? Because you just had someone pushing your paperwork, you know, not no one to really advocate to understand why you did what you did, no one to advocate and say, you know, I need to get my client help versus just, you know, locking him away. Or if you think about, I mean, if you think about any land, any area of the world, the law is involved. But time and
Yes.
time again, we aren't the ones using the law for our best interest because we aren't represented by the law.
Mhm. Absolutely. I definitely agree. And I'm glad that you mentioned that because one thing I've noticed is that a lot of times if we're not involved any way in the legal system, then we really
Mm-hmm.
don't know about it until we somehow get
Yeah,
placed in it. You know,
yeah.
so I'm glad that you brought that up. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of diversification and bringing more Black people into the field, I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to ask, what would you say are some of the advantages that Black people can gain by having Black attorneys?
So it kind of that actually flows right like well based off the last question because at the end of the day, okay, if we all everyone here on live, if you just stop and just think for a second, what if every Black family in the United States of America, every family had a lawyer to call on?
Mhm.
Like, I mean, like someone gets arrested, call uncle, whoever, call
Right.
auntie. Every family has that go to,
Mhm.
which isn't really free. You know, when you get that deal, you know, thrown in your face, that contract, you know, you a young guy from the projects, and they just throw a contract in your face trying to sign you, but you giving away all your master's rights. Let me call
Mhm.
auntie to make sure
Yeah.
that this is right. You know, um, we we come from a place of slavery here. That's our origins here. We weren't able to advocate for ourselves.
Mhm.
And that has trickled down into the legal field, right? If we were,
Mhm.
if every family was able to really advocate for themselves, game changer.
Yes, we will definitely be in a different place. And
Yeah.
it's so crazy how you flowing right into my next questions, and that's why I'm smiling so funny because I was asking, or I wanted to ask, did you feel that it was necessary for Black families to have attorneys on a retainer? Why or why not? And obviously, you feel that that is necessary. So, how would Black families go about that process?
Yeah, so well, I wouldn't necessarily say that you have to be on a retainer, because that means you've given a lawyer 3K or 5K or whatever, just in case you need this or need that. And I wouldn't put that pressure on people, because that may make them shy away if they don't, have that money available. But what I would say is, one, if you're gonna be in the streets, you should have some money available, okay? There's no reason why you in the streets doing what you're doing and you don't got about 5K put to the side just in case you need a lawyer one day. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you get locked
Right.
up and now we got to use grandma's house to get you out of prison. Like, no, you should have, like, come on. But okay, that's a whole nother tangent. What was the question again?
How would people or how would Black families go about that process of obtaining
Oh,
lawyers?
so what I recommend is you just need to at least know who they are, right? You need to know whose number to call. You should have those connections in place, so when you need to do what you need to do, you're able to do it. But if you are in a place, so for example, if you are in the entertainment business, if you are an entrepreneur, have your own whatever, your own small business or whatever kind of business, you can't go under a retainer like with a firm like myself. So I have some clients who, in exchange for having me on a retainer, meaning they paid for hours in advance, they get like a lower rate. And we just have a consultation. We talk about their needs, what they're going to need. So then I subtract from their retainer. So, trademark. Okay, you need a trademark. Okay, well, let me just deduct from this amount of money that we already have put to the side. And that works out when, for example, again, you have a business, you're growing. You're not going to need an attorney just one time. One week it's going to be a trademark. Next week you're going to need to negotiate with a vendor. The
Yeah.
following week you may have new employees, and now you need to have an employment agreement or independent contractor agreement. Or, someone sends you a cease and desist letter, you need your attorney to respond to that. So the bottom line is, know who attorneys are, especially depending on the type of work you in. You should definitely have some folks on speed dial, okay? Because we don't depend on them.
I
We don't
definitely,
depend on their representation.
absolutely. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
agree with that wholeheartedly. And so I have a tendency to kind of jump around, so bear with me.
Do your
Um,
thing.
Going back to your coaching experience, what are some of the topics that you really emphasize to students?
First and foremost, I find that the future lawyers that are most successful are the ones that really understand why they're going to law school, right? So you have some future lawyers who say things to me like, oh, I'm going to law school because I like to argue, or I'm going to law school because of SVU, or how to get away with murder, or I'm going to law school because my auntie and them a lawyer, or I just always wanted to go. Like, I don't know, those are the future lawyers that tend to give up halfway through their law school admissions test, practicing, studying, all of that, because they haven't really nailed down why they're going to law school. The best future lawyers, like, they're very specific, and they say things like, I'm going to law school because I'm sick of attorneys like Daniel Cameron making us look bad.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Very specific, to the point, like,
Mm-hmm.
and if you don't know, Daniel Cameron is the attorney general for Kentucky that did not even present murder in the Breonna Taylor case. So that's who that is. But he does not represent the 5%. He is, as I like to put it, a coon of a lawyer for real.
Mm-hmm. I definitely hear you on that.
Yeah.
So, what would you say are some of the greatest challenges of being a Black attorney? Speaking of,
You know what? One of the greatest challenges that I didn't realize until as of recently is that no matter how many degrees I get, no matter how many clients I represent, no matter, how well I'm doing, as an attorney, you know, I still may get mistaken for the defendant when I walk in the courtroom.
mm,
Or
wow,
when I get pulled over, I forget I'm an attorney. I can't even
Mm-hmm.
advocate for myself because I just want to make it through the traffic stop, right?
Right.
Um, and I think that's why it's very important that I'm doing what I'm doing, coaching future lawyers, changing the narrative of what a lawyer looks like, right? You know, getting people to understand, you know, this field needs to be diverse. You know, there should not be a moment. Again, every family should see lawyers and see Black people represented in that numbers, and that's just not the case. You know, which is why, you know, I started Jas Talks Law, and we've done over $2 million in law school scholarships. But aside from just you know, the mistaken identity and all of that of being a lawyer, I would also say, you know, taking care of yourself mentally and spiritually, you know, outside of work, and balancing that with your practice, you know, coaching and all of that, it can be a challenge at times because life is still happening. You know, if you got to go to court tomorrow and, you know, advocate on your client's behalf, you know, and you also have life going on. Like I just bought a townhouse, and, you know, that doesn't stop, you know. But, you know, at the end of the day, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that being said, because I know you talked about like really having mental strength and taking care of yourself spiritually, would
Mm-hmm.
you say that you can recall a time where you ever got emotionally involved with the cases that you were dealing with?
Emotionally involved in a case that, you know what, the cases that get me emotionally involved are the ones where I feel like um and it's not really one party or another party. Typically is I feel like my client is being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, for example, you know, I do trademarks, right? And you submit your application, right? And then there's a trademark examiner that works for the USPTO who comes behind you and reviews your application, make sure it's right, etc., etc. Well, I feel like sometimes when if you aren't represented by me at first and you file your trademark application on your own and then hire me once there's an issue, you know, I feel like some of the issues they point out be so trivial and so like it's like they sometimes I feel like they put roadblocks, you know,
Mm-hmm.
when you aren't represented by an attorney, or like I see certain issues playing out one way for one group of people, but I see issues in court being played out another way for another group of people. You know, it's really just it's when I notice things aren't fair that really pisses me off the most, because I know at the end of the day, you know, when I take off this attorney hat, that could be me. You could try me like that, you know. So yeah, it's just, you know, but that's why I like doing what I do, because I make it clear. Like people look at me and they think, "Oh, you're a pretty girl. Like we could take advantage of you." No, no, no. When it's time to talk business, when you trying to get over on me and my client, listen, we gonna handle it. Period.
Mhm. Absolutely. And that's so beautiful because you're so passionate, you'll always have that fuel to keep doing it and
Yeah.
not get, like you said, just discouraged by certain things. So that is
Mhm.
awesome. And that flow right into my next question too, because I wanted to ask, do you believe that being African American or African American attorney affects the rate of successful rulings or cases you have?
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, you know, one of the great examples of, and this isn't necessarily a case, but okay, let's think about like the Crown Act that came out of California. So the
Mm-hmm.
Crown Act, and for those that don't know, the Crown Act basically made discrimination based on your hair texture illegal, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of employment and, you know, things like that. But if you think back, who first pointed out this issue? I can assure you it wasn't a white man. Like, you know, diversity, you know, being that black lawyer that helps draft that litigate that legislation, you know, that is just a clear example of what it means to have that representation in the room, because now you have someone in the room that can say this is a problem, right? And a lot of times they don't experience that, so they can't even speak, they can't even think, dream of legislation that, you know, only affects us. But when you have that black lawyer in the room, right, who's there, who see things from a different perspective, you know, the Black lawyer in the room is the most beneficial things you can do, period.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
And since the constant display of racial injustice shown on social media, have you seen an increase in Black students pursuing law?
Oh yeah. And it's funny because at first, I tell future lawyers to be straight to the point with why you're going to law school. And sometimes they kind of pull back. But then when I really get them talking, okay, you're going to law school because you're sick of Daniel Cameron. You're sick of prosecutors getting not fully zealously prosecuting these police officers. Like, you're sick of that, and it's okay to say that. A lot of times future lawyers feel like they have to kind of tone down why they're going to law school. And I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, you don't want to go to any law school that doesn't support why you're going, right?
Right.
Because are they really going to have products, programs, and curriculums and things that suit your interests? No, they're not. So at the end of the day, I see so many future lawyers who are just realizing that the legal field, increasing the 5% is their contribution to the Black Lives Matter movement.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I really truly value your approach to that, because I think that a lot of people are so used to being conservative in
Mm-hmm.
spaces like that. So they
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily want to, like you said, be very boisterous or vocal about why they're going.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that with this new millennial mentality, it's easy
Yes.
to tell it like it is, and just keep it
Uh-huh.
real. So
Mm-hmm.
I really do value that approach that you have.
Yeah.
Um, Now, I know that you are also working towards dismantling systematic oppression. How would you say that you're contributing to this movement specifically?
You know, again, I hate watching TV shows like First 48,
Hmm.
and you see these young men, go into the police station, the the room where they talk to you and do all of that. And they just start talking, and then they get so scared, and next thing you know, they just said so much more than they needed to say. They never thought for a second to say, let me stop and call an attorney. And a lot of times it's because they don't even know who to call,
Yep.
right? And because of that, right? If you've seen the it's a documentary or a movie, the 13th, that talks
Yes.
about the 13th Amendment, and you talk about how they talk about mass incarceration, how all that contributes to systematic oppression. But even before you get locked up, it starts even further than that when you go into that room and you don't ask for an attorney. You don't advocate for yourself, and then next thing you know, you're contributing to this bigger cycle. So, increasing the 5%, again, when you think about if every family in the United States of America had a Black attorney that they could call on for good or for bad reasons, right?
Mhm.
That's just one way to contribute to eliminating the systematic oppression.
Absolutely. And so, how do you feel Black people as a whole can contribute to this forward movement?
So, everyone's role is different. But
Hmm.
one thing I've noticed is when I go to the airport, the grocery store, when I leave my house, period, and they see me, right? And then they see my 5% of lawyers are Black, hoodie, shirt, whatever I'm wearing. It's like, wait, is that real? Like there's not a time I don't wear any of my merch out the house and it doesn't spark a conversation. So what I'm getting at is awareness is important. Having the
Hmm.
conversation, that we're having right now, buying some 5% merch, wearing it when you're at the airport, just getting the conversations going, not shutting, a big one for future lawyers is when they share with their families that they want to go to law school. A lot of times the response is negative. Who paying for it?
Hmm.
That's the big one. Or it takes too long, ain't no jobs. I know that as a whole, to contribute to this movement, we have to be more encouraging of attending law school. And that's why I'm doing this interview with you, because I want more people to know about Jas Talks Law, what I'm doing, the workbooks, the online courses, everything that I have available. Because if you don't have a family lawyer, I'm your family lawyer, right?
Mhm.
So at the end of the day, we have to spread awareness, and we have to encourage our future lawyers to go to law school. And if you don't have a lawyer in your family, I'm your lawyer in your family. Hit me up,
Yeah.
I'm your sis, I'm your cuz, whatever. But the bottom line is we have to increase this 5%. It's been that way since Martin Luther King passed away, which is
Wow.
50 something years ago now. So,
Yeah.
I just pray that before I go away from here, that it's at least at 6, 7. Give me something. But
Absolutely.
but again, we're I have like personal. Let me show you. I have like my personal statement workbook. I have my diversity statement workbook. I have online courses. I have a lot of resources. So I'm not just telling y'all we need more lawyers. I'm giving you the resources you need to make this a reality.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You are so amazing. And thank you for
Oh,
that.
thank you.
Of course. Of course. Now, speaking of, because I'm sure that you have a whole lot of wisdom pertaining to this, but what
Ooh.
are some characteristics you feel a person must have mentally in order to be equipped for your line of work?
So, just a quick story. I remember being in law school, and I couldn't sleep for like 3 whole days. My
Mhm.
constitutional law class was just like one of the hardest classes I've ever taken in my life. And there was one night where I was on the side of my bed, just rocking back and forth like this. And at the time, I couldn't sleep. All I could think about was my class. And at the time, I didn't realize that my mental health was being affected by law school, specifically anxiety, specifically depression. Like all this was affecting me. So, one thing that um, characteristic that you need to be successful in law school or as an attorney, period, is just having a good rap on your mental health. I know World Mental Health Day was like a week or so ago, but I just
Mhm.
encourage everyone, if you really want to be successful in this profession, take care of yourself mentally. Like it's so important, and physically as well. But just knowing your triggers, knowing what you're so affected from your childhood. There's so many layers of our mental health, and I find that the people um, that manage their mental health appropriately, they're doing the best, whether it's law school, the profession, because you're gonna have some days where you wake up. I mean, even if you're not a lawyer, you have some days
Mhm.
where you wake up and just mentally you're just not right. Like I've been there, I'm still there some days, but it's just knowing how to cope with that, because guess what? You still got to go to class, you still got to
Yeah.
show up for your client, you still got to be in court, you got to know how to cope appropriately. Because
Mhm.
in this profession, our profession has one of the highest suicide rates. Like it's
Mhm.
real. We aren't taking care of ourselves. So, just your mental health, like that is like the best ingredient. Like if you had to create a little mixture
Mhm.
of the perfect law student, a big chunk of that is definitely going to be a law student with that really takes care of their mental health.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, all this is, I've never heard all this stuff, so I'm really glad that I'm able to speak with you because this is very informative. Like a lot of these things I did not know, so I really do appreciate you for making it your
Yeah.
mission to really put these things in the forefront. So one of my last questions is, do you have any new projects that we should know about? Any events or like you say, your workbooks? I mean, I need
Mhm.
to know the
Yes.
whole deal.
So, the good news is that the holiday season is fastly approaching us. So, I would highly encourage everyone to visit my website, jastalkslaw.com, jastalkslaw.com, just how it is on my at mention name, and subscribe, because this um, starting next month, we're going to do a lot of specials on our workbooks, our online courses, and of course, our merch. Even if you aren't a future lawyer, wearing my hoodie, wearing my shirt, not only helps me continue doing what I do, because I do this full time. You know, I work with future lawyers full time. So it not only helps me continuing doing that, but it helps me spread awareness. So subscribe to our email list. And if you are a future lawyer, when you subscribe, you'll receive our free law school application timeline. Outside of that, I am doing an event on Saturday with the Southern Region of the Black Law Student Association. So if you go to SRBLSA, SirBalsa, go to their Instagram page, you'll see details about that. And it's open to all future lawyers. So, you know, that would be a great opportunity to tune in and just learn more about, you know, my workbooks, my online courses. But, you know, what I did specifically for you guys, and just as a thank you for having me as your guest this week, is I created a discount code. So if any of your followers, anyone listening right now, if you want some merch, if you want to get the future lawyer in your life, our personal statement workbook, or, you know, any of that, you can use discount code PURPOSE to get 15% off of your purchase. And if you go to my page, you'll see how to get to my website. And yeah, that's just for y'all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, because I will definitely be investing.
Thank you.
Of course. And thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all of this great information and knowledge and wisdom that you share with us.
Yeah.
We wish you the best of luck on all your business ventures.
Likewise.
Thank you so much. And again, you have an amazing day.
You too. Y'all have a good one. And feel free to reach out to me. My email is info@jazztalkslaw.com, or shoot me a DM. Find me on Instagram. You know, let's stay connected. Anyone that knows me know I'm the most accessible person. Just hit me up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. You're so amazing.
You too. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.